York, this is the Channel 11 News at 10 with Tiny Tom, Jack Cafferty, Jerry Gerard, and Mr. G.
Good evening. New York City got as cold as it's been in 52 years today. There's an energy emergency in New Jersey, and more frigid weather is on the way.
Half the country is wrapped in a deep freeze. 79 deaths reported nationwide, and the federal government's planning to close down tomorrow to save energy. New York City set a record of 2 degrees below zero today. The last time it was colder was in 1942. Wind chills made it feel like minus 30 degrees, and travel remains treacherous, whether by road, rail, or even on foot. Utilities report record demand for power, with energy emergencies declared in 6 states, including New Jersey. PSE&G officials were actually shutting down power to entire communities for short periods of time today to avoid a blackout. And the cold has emergency medical crews working overtime in the frigid weather, rescuing people trapped outside their homes or injured in falls. So far, no cold-related deaths have been reported in this area, but the shelters are filled to capacity. Power companies all along the East Coast are being overwhelmed by the huge demand for electricity. 21 million people in 6 states could be affected by those so-called rolling blackouts where power is totally cut off for short periods of time. Laurel Fairworth reports from PSE&G headquarters on an earlier energy emergency there.
Well, the heat went off, you know. I would say with 12 degrees below zero in Wharton, that was an inconvenience.
In this East Orange neighborhood and many others, people were just as inconvenienced when the power was abruptly shut off. PSE&G decided to switch off certain customers' electricity on a rotating basis for an hour, called rolling blackouts, because record demand had overwhelmed the system.
We have record demands for the winter peak period, but then we also have, because of the temperatures, we have problems with fuel deliveries, coal piles that are frozen, oil lines that are frozen, regular mechanical equipment problems.
New Jersey is part of a 6-state power grid made up of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. The whole system is reeling from high usage. And so in her first day on the job, Governor Christie Todd Whitman found it necessary to declare a state of energy emergency. State employees went home early, as did federal employees in Washington, who also get the day off tomorrow. Officials here in New Jersey are begging customers to please conserve. But if you do lose power in your home, here are some tips. Drink water and eat food because it provides the body with energy to provide its own heat. Wear layers of loose-fitting clothing. Stuff rags in cracks under the doors. Have flashlights, batteries, and a portable radio handy. And know how to use fireplaces, wood stoves, and space heaters. Authorities hope customers will not be subjected to another round of power outages.
I don't think you ever get used to it. Just stay inside by the radio as much as possible.
In New Jersey, Laurel Fairworth, Channel 11, News at 10.
Very well.
So maybe you're asking the same thing I am. How much longer are we going to have to put up with this? Let's go to Mr. G in the Weather Center for that. G?
All right, Katie, the big story is the core of the Arctic air is now crossing the tri-state area. How much longer? Another 24 hours. 0 White Plains, Islip, JFK, LaGuardia, all in at 3. Get this. Western New Jersey, as we speak, Haynesville, minus 20. Let's go around the horn. We'll take your first 2. Chicago. Look at the Chicago River. Minus 19 degrees below zero. Come with me now to the nation's capital, in Washington, where they skated to work, went down to minus 4. Come with me to Boston, where earlier this morning the temperature reading was 2 degrees in Boston, but the wind chill factor made it feel like 20 degrees below zero. Temperatures are right now in the tri-state area as you look at it. Currently holding a 3 Islip, Newark in at 4, minus 10 is Fishkill. Tomorrow morning, we should be below zero here in the Midtown area. North and west of the city, temperatures by tomorrow morning will range right around minus 15 to minus 20. And we ask this question, Fairbanks 6, Anchorage 12. How can New York City be colder than it was in Alaska? And when will the change occur? We'll have details later on.
Okay, G, and temperatures this cold can be downright deadly and can cause a lot of emergencies due to the dangerous conditions. Jason Carroll is standing by live right now at EMS headquarters with a look at how the weather is affecting their workload. Jason?
Well, Kaidi, EMS was prepared to take this kind of a hit, but they are still working very hard trying to keep up with all the weather-related calls, things like slips and falls, traffic accidents, people having trouble breathing, people suffering from hypothermia, and they're not expecting this to let up anytime soon.
Okay, it's a male patient. About how old is he, sir?
Call after call keeps coming in at the EMS Communication Center for people suffering from weather-related emergencies.
Okay, she fell on the ice.
She's got difficulty in breathing. That's what you just told me, right? And she's asthmatic, right? Do you have heat in your house, ma'am? Okay. Try to keep it warm, okay?
Since the cold weather kicked in, 911 calls are way up, at least 20%. EMS tackling the heavy volume with extra manpower and units. The communication center dispatching about 200 units throughout the city's 5 boroughs. Conditions are so severe it sometimes leaves those trained to help in the position of needing help themselves.
Right outside, before anybody has a chance to go out and lay salt down, a couple of our own people have fallen down, become injured because of the ice, and no one is immune to this weather.
People, they don't shovel the walks and the sidewalks, and we have to carry a lot of our patients either in a stretcher or a stretcher, and we can slip as well as they can, and it'll hurt them as well as it'll hurt us.
It didn't take long for Frank Borderland's unit to get called out on yet another weather-related emergency. This man was in an icy fender bender a few hours earlier, but didn't start feeling it until he got home. These guys don't expect the heavy volumes of calls to let up anytime soon. When do you think all this is going to be over? When do you think your job's going to return to normal?
The way it's going, probably April.
Another problem EMS has been having is apparently a number of people have been calling with non-emergencies, calling that 911 number. Some advice, if you don't have an emergency, stay off the 911 line. Let these guys help those people who are in serious need of assistance. Jason Carroll reporting live. Let's go back to Jack in the studio.
All right, Jason, thank you. An argument turned into a bloodbath in an Upper East Side apartment building today. One man was killed, 2 injured during a shooting at an apartment at 1st Avenue and 65th Street. Police say the victims, all in their late 20s, were shot during a dispute this afternoon in a first-floor apartment that was used as a business office, possibly for a car service. Police say the men may have been the victims of an armed robbery. If so, the attackers are still at large tonight.
We have a lot more ahead tonight. President Clinton gets a first-hand look at the earthquake damage in Southern California. We'll have a live report.
Skater Tanya Harding's ex-husband has been arrested in the attack on Nancy Kerrigan.
Damaging and very graphic testimony at the Lorena Bobbitt trial.
And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opens its doors to some legendary performers. Stay with us.
To believe that it's all true.
President Clinton got a first-hand look today at the damage from Southern California's big earthquake, promising immediate help for the residents of that area. And they will need it. The latest numbers have the death toll up to 46, with 4,200 injured. Some 15,000 people are homeless, with 4,000 homes heavily damaged or destroyed. 40,000 people are still without water, another 52,000 without power. Early estimates put the damage at $30 billion, which would match the cost from Hurricane Andrew. And now for the latest on how people are coping with all this devastation, we go to Sharon Tay of our sister station KTLA, who's standing by live right now in Southern California. Sharon?
Heidi, we're in West Los Angeles, where they're demolishing a portion of the Santa Monica Freeway, a portion that was badly damaged during the earthquake. Now, this is the type of demolition that President Clinton had a chance to see today while on a tour through the San Fernando Valley. Shortly after his arrival at Burbank Airport this morning, President Clinton got a close look at the collapsed portion of the Simi Valley Freeway overpass and spoke with Caltrans and other experts about the damage.
Looking at the size of these highways and thinking that in a matter of just a few seconds, all that massive amount of construction could be moved around like a piece of paper is amazing.
Then he was off to a neighborhood in Granada Hills, the site where the quake caused a huge explosion of a gas main. As a result, several homes were destroyed. Here, Clinton only had time to talk with some residents. Many didn't get a chance. After a brief visit here, the president, accompanied by Budget Director Leon Panetta, both attended a meeting with California Governor Pete Wilson and Los Angeles City Mayor Richard Riordan. There were also representatives from FEMA. The discussion was geared at coordinating federal and local emergency services.
And Mr. Panetta, I'd like you to look at a little briefing document there because it spells out the specifics of what we've been working on. It's a joint product that involves the state, the city, and the federal government in looking at the things that we can do together.
As the president toured the Southland, effects of the earthquake could still be felt. Aftershocks continue to rattle the area. In fact, there was a powerful jolt measuring 5.1 this afternoon. Traffic also remains a problem as demolition crews continue to work on the Southland's major freeways. Along those lines, President Clinton has set aside $45 million toward freeway repair. He's also trying to get an additional $224 million in aid. And before leaving, he made a promise to Southlanders, and that is he will do the best he can to try to ease the situation here in Los Angeles. Reporting from Los Angeles, I'm Sharon Tay. Back to you.
Sharon, thanks very much. Tonya Harding's ex-husband is free on bail tonight after being arrested in the Nancy Kerrigan attack. Jeff Gillooly surrendered at the FBI office in Portland, Oregon. He's the fourth suspect to be arrested in that assault. He was arraigned along with Shane Stant, the Arizona man accused of actually clubbing Kerrigan, and he was released on $20,000 bail. Meanwhile, an affidavit filed today links Harding herself to the attack for the first time. Her bodyguard says Harding made phone calls to determine Kerrigan's practice schedule before the attack. Harding has not been charged and still denies ever being involved.
John Wayne Bobbitt took the stand for another day in the trial against his wife, who's charged with maliciously wounding him. Bobbitt denied he forced his wife to get an abortion or have anal sex, as Lorena Bobbitt has claimed. A former co-worker of Mrs. Bobbitt also took the stand. Connie James testified that Mrs. Bobbitt vowed at one point to emasculate her husband if she ever caught him cheating on her.
Lorena stated, can I say it exactly
yeah,
like?
You say exactly.
Lorena stated, I would cut his dick off because that would hurt him more than just killing him.
Lorena Bobbitt testified last week she never made such a statement. The case could go to the jury tomorrow. Jack?
Colin Ferguson was arraigned today on a 93-count indictment charging him with murdering 6 people and injuring 19 others on the Long Island Railroad last month. Ferguson refused to speak in the Mineola courtroom, and a judge entered a not guilty plea on Ferguson's behalf. Ferguson's court-appointed lawyer says he plans to look into using an insanity defense, and he says he wants the trial held outside Nassau County.
A 34-year-old Long Island mother of 4 has been arrested for allegedly poisoning her 22-month-old son to death. Police say Margie Yoslowitz of Oceanside slowly poisoned her son Brett with a vomit-inducing syrup, which is normally given to children who have swallowed poison. The boy was taken to the hospital several times by his mother. Doctors believe that Yoslowitz may have been suffering from a syndrome, a rare kind of disease that causes a parent to make their child sick and then to seek treatment for them.
When the News at 10 continues, a cold but busy first day on the job for New Jersey's new governor, Christy Whitman.
And speaking of the cold, we sent Julian Phillips out to find one of the coldest jobs anywhere in New York, and he found one. Coming up.
Mr. G's Weather Report is being brought to you by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Attorney General Janet Reno is expected to appoint a special prosecutor tomorrow to investigate President Clinton's involvement in the Whitewater venture. An administration official said tonight former U.S. Attorney Robert Fisk of New York will be named as special prosecutor. The 63-year-old Fisk is a Republican. He was the U.S. Attorney for Manhattan during both the Ford and Carter administrations, and he will investigate Mr. Clinton and Mrs. Clinton's investments in the Whitewater Land Development Company and their ties to a failed savings and loan in Arkansas.
As we told you earlier, New Jersey Governor Christy Whitman spent a frigid first day on the job. She arrived at the State House in Trenton to smiles and handshakes, but it wasn't long before the 50th New Jersey governor got down to business. Whitman declared a statewide energy emergency and allowed state workers to leave home early. She also nominated a new banking commissioner and signed an executive order reinstating blind trusts, which were outlawed by the Florio administration.
Our trust in Mr. G is being called into question by the day as we continue to struggle with the worst winter. I've been in New York for 17 years, and I don't remember one any worse than this.
There was a time this morning where LaGuardia Airport had a wind chill factor of minus 45 for 3 hours in a row, the second coldest in the nation. And tomorrow's record is 4 degrees. Kiss it goodbye, everybody. That record is going, gone. We're going outside now in the Midtown area where the winds have diminished a little bit. John Frassi with the shop, but the temperature is cold. And we're talking record-breaking cold again. We'll do numbers for you. It's holding at 3. Humidity 49%, west 15. Today's high 10. Today's low minus 2. The average was 4 degrees, and that is some 33 degrees below the norm. Now, for us, the big story was the records earlier this morning from New York City to White Plains to Danbury to Plainview, minus 3 to Haynesville, New Jersey, where it was 16 degrees below zero. That is very, very cold. And not only that, tomorrow morning, we're going to go one more time, just as bad. Have blankets in the car. car, flashlight, extra batteries, water container, keep the fuel tank full to prevent icing in the fuel line. We're going to do it one more time, and the reason we're going to do it one more time is this reason. The Arctic high. Why are we colder here than it is in Alaska? Look where the big blue is. It usually sits up and above Fairbanks. It's right above New York City, and that's the reason we're so cold. The core of the Arctic high is here. Record-breaking temperatures across 7 states. Got down to -2, -15 in Chicago, and we mentioned before -34 in Minot, North Dakota, and keeps going, just keeps on going. For us, though, the story is going to be a bit of a change. It'll be very, very subtle. First, you'll be able to see a little bit of light snow breaking out. This is going to streak generally right underneath us. We'll be on the northern fringe, perhaps a little bit of flurry activity tomorrow, not to worry. Then the core of the Arctic high moves out and will moderate very slowly. We're going to have to go through another 24 hours of this, and then the winds will kick around southwest and things will begin to improve around here. So the forecast for the remainder of tonight goes like this. Extremely cold. Clouds arrive late. That will lock in the temperature, but I still think the city will do 0 to -5. The northwestern suburbs will do -15 to -20 degrees below zero. I'm going to say that again. North and west of the city, -20 below zero. We're only talking about 40 miles west. Flurries tomorrow, 11 to 16 degrees, and the 5-day forecast shows a very slow moderation, but we'll take it. 24 degrees by Friday, Saturday near 30, Sunday low 30s, and Monday under mostly sunny skies, temperatures will be in the upper 30s.
Sounds downright balmy, doesn't it? Unbelievable. Okay, thank you, G. Well, for those of you who earn a living working outdoors, well, you should have just stayed under the covers. The Arctic temperatures made the day hellish, especially for a tugboat crew. Julian Phillips spent the shivering day with them.
This weather, the grease gets hard as a rock. It's hard to keep moving free.
For anyone thinking it was cold, try working outside on the waters of New York Bay, where the temperatures easily measured 10 degrees colder than on land. Meet the crew of the tugboat Dakota. Their destination, Rikers Island. The job, moving this huge prison barge for repairs to the Cadell Dry Dock on Staten Island.
What are they trying to do?
Right now we're just waiting to get all the shipyard guys and stuff on there. They're getting up all the cables and stuff. And they got the 2 ferries tied together with cables, so they're just taking in all the cables and stuff.
So this is a little bit more complicated, I guess, than they first thought. All these old cables rusting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everything's frozen. You know, it's a tough job.
A 45-minute job of rigging the barge turned into 2 hours of back-breaking labor because of frozen cable winches and ropes.
Well, I guess with the cold weather and the ice conditions and everything, and the men are just freezing cold. They can't move around, and difficulty in releasing the gear with all ice on top of it, so everything's on a slow pace right now.
I'll put one part with the eye, shackle right into that as just a center.
Shackle right into the pad eye?
Right. And I'll use that as the center.
Oh, for a headline?
For a headline, one. See, I get that right in the middle.
All right, sure, no problem.
Time was now an enemy for the Dakota and 2 other tugs assisting in the operation. Extreme cold and low tides would make it difficult, if not impossible, to make it through Hell's Gate.
The Dakota shift started around 8:30 this morning, and well into this afternoon, towing this prison barge is just their first job. Tugboat crews average around 3 jobs a day, and sometimes it's a 24-hour operation. But extreme cold and temperatures like this cannot be a factor to these men, especially if they want to put food on their tables. On the East River, Julian Phillips for the Channel 11 News at 10.
Well, I'll tell you what it wasn't too cold for. It wasn't too cold for them to sell out the Garden tonight.
Packed house, a lot of celebrities, because the San Antonio Spurs were up against the Knicks. We'll have highlights of that, plus collapse at the Australian Open.
Love 15.
Must be something in the water down there in Texas. They're all good.
I guess so. I haven't been there myself, Jack.
You should go sometime, like right now.
My goodness. Former friend.
You're out of time now.
Knicks and Spurs at the Garden tonight. No problem. 120 to 108, the Knicks. And what a shame. Robinson couldn't play. There are people who waited months for this confrontation, bought tickets, and it's not fair. But what are you going to do? You can't get your money back. It's not like you go to a concert for the Boss and they come out and they say, Bruce is sick tonight, but we got Johnny Schmaltz going to sing for him. You got to have a riot, But here you got to play. So it was easy for the Knicks. Let's go to the highlights and see what happened. Ewing, the rebound. Out to Starks. Boy, he had plenty of energy tonight. 1 against 2, and he scores. Then a steal by Bonner, who was all over Ellis on this play, and he completes it with the stuff. They're up by 20 at one point. Starks to Mason right on the move. Second half, a block by Ewing here, and they were jacked up for this game, Robinson or not. Starks taking it all away. Nobody stops him. Now here, Ewing missed, and an Oakley follow, slams it down. A lot of celebrities at the game, including LT. He says Oakley doesn't know how to tackle. 120 to 108. At the Meadowlands, the Nets with Coleman, the captain, back at the helm, win over the Wolves 112 to 91. Chris Morris from Coleman, and then Anderson snaking his way through. How does he do it? He scores. Nets by 11 at the half. Second half, Morris to Edwards all alone, and this was the play of the game. Beauty. Anderson and Coleman working that play perfectly, and they win it 112 to 91. Almost a fight there, but colder heads prevailed. At the Big East, Yukon and Providence. Danielle Marshall driving, Allen driving, switching to the left hand. Yukon by 4 at the half, second half. Sheffer to Marshall, and then to Allen. Great. 11 seconds to go, and it's a technical and a personal, allowing Providence to get within 2. They get it to Michael Brown for a 3-pointer, and all of a sudden Providence leads, but it's not over. Ali, the point guard, drives. Time running out. He scores. Connecticut pulls it out 79 to 78. Strange collapse at the Australian Open. It was near 80, but not brutally hot. Now, Henri Leconte is serving, and suddenly he gets dazed and falls. Now, people, because they know Leconte, thought he was clowning. Notice how quickly people are getting to help him. Now, watch the guy that comes over to help him. He's saying, all right, Henri, what is it now? Hey, this guy started twitching. He was in convulsions. And now he realizes it was serious, but it turns out it was just heat exhaustion. He was okay after an hour, released from the hospital. Wow. In Tampa Bay tonight, the Islanders trying to beat the expansion team. But trouble. First period, Ferraro to Green, hits him right on the stick, goes in for the breakaway. So it's 1-0 Islanders. And then Turgeon will find King, and he scores on the breakaway. But with the score tied 3-3 in the overtime, Klima to Chris Gratton, fires away, beats McLennan. The final score was 4-3. And in Winnipeg tonight, Devils doing a little better, lead 4-0 as they play the third period. That's it in sports.
Okay. Thanks, Jerry. Finally tonight, some of music's greatest legends were honored at the annual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. A who's who of musicians gathering at the Waldorf Astoria for the event. Performers including guitarist Jeff Beck and many others. Tribute was paid to the late John Lennon and reggae genius Bob Marley. Lennon honored for his work as a solo artist. Other inductees include the Grateful Dead, the British invasion band The Animals, the band, singer-songwriter Elton John, guitarist Dwayne Eddy, and veteran rocker Rod Stewart.
Did Phil Rizzuto get in this time around?
I don't know. We better check. Okay. That's Channel 11 News for this Wednesday. I'm Connie.
I'm Jack Cafferty. Thanks for being with us. It's very cold. Join us again tomorrow night for the news at 10. Cheers is next. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
WPIX has news bureaus in New Jersey at 223 Montrose Avenue, Rutherford, and on Long Island at the Supreme Court Building, Mineola, and 255 Executive Drive, Plainview.